Just need to sort this out. Yeah, good. Okay, so I just start.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay. So we're doing 249, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Process of Creation, text number 9. Yata gunams tu prakriti yugapat kramaso piva pivati birashas tuyaka kuhankamani jammabi. Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature, or simultaneously expands in many forms, or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Text 10. Vichiksitam mitan me bravitu bhagavanyata sabde brahmani nisnata padasmin cha bhavan kalo. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord, and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms, non-different from one another. And although he is the original person, he is still ever young with permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his pure devotees. The expansions of different forms of the Lord, as from Krishna to Balarāma to Saṅkarṣaṇa, from Saṅkarṣaṇa to Vāsudeva, from Vāsudeva to Aniruddha, from Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to the second Saṅkarṣaṇa, and from him to the Narayan Puruṣa avatāras, and innumerable other forms, which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of a river, are all one and the same. They are like lamps of equal power, which kindle from one lamp to another. That is the transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas say that he is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, he still remains the same complete whole. Punasya punamadaya punameva vishishyate. As such, there is no validity in a material conception of the Lord produced by the mental speculator. Thus, he remains always a mystery for the mundane scholar, even if he is vastly learned in the Vedic literatures. Videsha dulavam adulavam atmabhakto. Therefore, the Lord is beyond the limit of conception for mundane learned scholars, philosophers, or scientists. He is easily understandable for the pure devotee because the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 1855 that after surpassing the stage of knowledge, when one is able to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, then only can one know the true nature of the Lord. One cannot have any clear conception of the Lord or his holy name, form, attributes, pastimes, etc., unless one is engaged in his transcendental loving service. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord, being free from all other engagements, means that one must become a pure, unconditional devotee of the Lord. Only then can one know him by the strength of devotional service. Mahārāja Parīkṣit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Shukadeva Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Shukadeva Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord is by the grace of the Lord more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead, Sri Ramachandra, attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka. But Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. The Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni, although the Muni was so powerful that he could reach the Lord directly under material conditions. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Mahārāja Ambarish, a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, not only is a devotee of the Lord more powerful than the Lord, but also worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Bhakta Puja Biyadika. The conclusion is, therefore, that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in Vedic literatures, but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a devotee spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental science of the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master like Shukadeva Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potencies, but also explains how he associates with his external potencies. The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan, but his external potential works are directed by his features of Karanadakshay Viṣṇu, Garbhadakshay Viṣṇu, and Shiradakshay Viṣṇu. Sri Vishnurat Chakravarti offers his good counsel in the interested Vaishnavas, to the interested Vaishnavas, when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord's activities in Vrindavan like Rasa Leela, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of the Puruṣa avatars in connection with the Srishtitattva, creational functions. Or following the examples of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, the ideal disciple, and Shukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyan Timadandasya Gyanana Shalakya Chakshumi Tamyena Tasmin Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Panchakalpa Turu Vishcha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Bhavani Vyo Vaishyam Vyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gauda Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So at every step, we need the mercy of the Lord. It doesn't matter if one is liberated or not. The mercy of the Lord is always required. Does that mean that we are dependent and he is independent? So we can see here that Mahārāja Parīkṣit is asking Shukadeva Goswami about the process of creation, how the Lord manifests in this material world. So we've seen the previous chapters progressing to the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, starting with the Virat Rupa, the universal form, and now with the Super Soul, and soon to the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. This understanding of the personality of Godhead is so esoteric, so difficult to understand. And it is only by the mercy of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada that not only can we understand, but we can also explain it to others in a very simple way. This type of intelligence or eloquence has never been seen before in history. And the way that he did it was to also set the example of how to explain to others as just an instrument of the previous acharyas. So we can see here that we also need to follow in the same footsteps as Mahārāja Parīkṣit. Not to jump beyond our own realization or to try and get something that we think that we already know that I'm not the body. We already know about the modes of material nature. We already know, like, things of this material, we think, no, this is not the real thing. You know, the real thing in Krishna consciousness is the rasa tattva, the internal pastimes of the Lord in the spiritual world with his most intimate devotees. Obviously, that's the goal, but in our conditioned state, we cannot appreciate it. You see here that the Lord is manifesting in this material world in so many ways. I remember when I first read the Bhagavad Gita, and when you grow up as a Hindu, you kind of have all these different gods with many hands and great mystic powers, and obviously the one who displays the greatness, you know, that's the God, that's like the supreme God. And even starting to get into Krishna consciousness, reading the Bhagavad Gita, when reading the 11th chapter, hearing about the universe, I thought, okay, this is the real form of God. This is how he really looks like. This is who he is. Even though in the purports and in Krishna himself in the text say that this is not the main thing. Actually, the two-handed form of Krishna is the source of all spiritual material worlds. So it took even longer. I like, say, if I accepted that the Supreme Lord is Viṣṇu, I thought Krishna was his avatar. So it does take a lot more purification in hearing to actually understand the nature or the supremacy of Krishna as Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Only by hearing such pastimes, like when Lord Brahma stole the calves and the cowed boys, and we see how Krishna manifested all these Viṣṇu forms, along with all the energies and the demigods of worshipping that one supreme, those separate supreme lords, and then all coming into the body of Krishna, bewildering Lord Brahma to an extent that he was completely stunned. He fell down like a golden rod, it said, in front of the Lord. So even Lord Brahma couldn't understand Krishna. What to speak of us? So even if one is very learned as a scholar, they cannot even understand. And we say Lord Brahma cannot understand. So knowledge is not enough. The way that is done is bhaktiman amajananti yavanyas pata. That is by only devotional service that one can understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna states in himself, even in the Uddhava Gita in the 11th Canto, he'll state the same thing. It's only by devotion, by bhakti, by trying to attract his mercy, by showing loving affection in service to him. So here we have Parīkṣit Mahārāja. He actually already knows about these things. He's heard about it. He's understood it. He is known as Parīkṣit because he's one who's always examining, you know, is this Krishna? Is this Krishna? That's why he's known as Parīkṣit, because obviously from the past time in the womb, he was saved by the Lord and just want to see that Lord again. So his realization knows no bounds, being a descendant of great devotees like the Pandavas, having so much association of the Supreme Lord and also his pure devotees. So why would he need to ask? And here in the purport, Prabhupada is pointing out to show how amazing a devotee Shukadeva Goswami is. And this is the prerogative of the Supreme Lord. There's a competition of glorification between the pure devotee and the Supreme Lord. And this is the most amazing thing of Krishna consciousness, that the Lord, he loves to be subordinate to his devotee. This is the power of bhakti. In the pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we hear about the illiterate Brahmana from South India. And being a Brahmana and being illiterate doesn't really go together. You know, Brahmanas are studious. They can read. Not only can they read, but they are overdoing the reading, you know, kind of thing. Maybe someone in your family is like that. He's just always at the books. You know, it's like whatever's going on, then he just rips out a Kindle and he's like there. You know, he doesn't miss a moment. And then if they are reading in their own space, you can't wake them up, you know, you can't shake them. They're just like in another world. So that's the nature of a Brahmana, to just be absorbed in Sastra and reading and reading and reading. So how can you be a Brahmana and be illiterate? So you can see what his predicament was. He was made fun of by the other Brahmanas. And his spiritual master said, yes, you must read Bhagavad Gita every day. He's trying to read, he's holding upside down, he's making sounds, and everyone's making fun of him. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes through and says, my dear Brahmana, I see that you're reading Bhagavad Gita, but aren't you illiterate? He goes, yeah, I'm illiterate, but my spiritual master said, so I must do. What can I do? There's nothing I can do about this. So then, the Lord asked this Brahmana, but you're crying, you know, why tears of ecstasy? I don't understand. So then the Brahmana, when you have these handmade, like written on palm leaf, there's also illustrations. So he sees this illustration of Krishna being the chariot driver for Arjuna. And he says, when I see the Lord becoming the humble servant of his devotee, then I cry. Lord Chaitanya says, you know, you're the real knower of Bhagavad Gita, and he embraced him. He embraced him. So we can see that just by his devotion to his spiritual master, he was able to get the greatest gift, the greatest benediction of being embraced by the Lord. But we can see Lord Chaitanya has declared such an illiterate Brahmana has become the greatest knower of the Bhagavad Gita. This is a very powerful statement. This is very sanguine to our line of bhakti, that we don't see ourselves as qualified for anything. Knowledge, abilities, intelligence, strength. You know, Kali-yuga person, just lazy, always disturbed, fighting. What chance do we have? But it's by the mercy of the Lord that not only can we just have a chance to be connected to him, but we can also be like an intimate devotee, to have this intimacy with the Lord. This is unheard of in any situation. Only we see, like we have examples of Hanuman. You know, he's already displays great strength and great culture, great abilities. The Lord is glorifying. We accept that. Even with Ambarish Maharaj in relation to Duvas Muni. Duvas Muni was a great yogi, very powerful, even reached the spiritual world, but still wasn't enough to receive the mercy of the Lord. Only Maharaj Ambarish, with his great humility of just wanting to do what was pleasing to the Lord. So this is the secret of success, to somehow satisfy the spiritual master. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada, yasya prasada nagati katopi. That without the mercy of the spiritual master, we cannot get the mercy of Krishna. There's no way to know anything about Krishna, his energies, and how he interacts with them. The reason why we need to know these things is that it's very easy to take the Lord for granted in his human-like pastimes, just like the impersonals and the Mayavadis. They are taking Krishna as an ordinary human being, which is offensive. We don't want to be like that. We don't want to be envious of the Lord. We want to develop love for him again. So this tattva of how he's creating the cosmic manifestation will allow us to appreciate him more. Just like, we see someone great in this world, say like a great king or an actor, someone you really admire, some actor, some sports player, Sachin Tendulkar, and then we find out he does something that's really down to earth. He likes to have porridge for breakfast, or he likes to play video games, or he likes to go for walks on the beach. It's like, wow, he's so down. It's just like, it's kind of like us. We get enamored by that because we always see him in this greatness of what he's already doing. So when you see the greatness of Krishna, how he's manifesting this whole cosmic manifestation, where he, is there as the super soul, and all his energies are under his control, and how they move, and we're enamored by nature here and now. We're like, here we're in the beach, we see the sunrise, it's amazing, the grass, ocean, we see all these beautiful trees everywhere, the mountains. It looks so amazing. This is just like a spark of the splendor of the Lord. He's so amazing just in terms of this creation. And then in his personal dealings, he likes to steal butter. We like to steal as kids, he likes to steal. We get it from him. He likes to, he likes to, it's like something human-like, I've already forgot. He likes to play the food, likes music. He likes to deal with his coward friends, wrestles with them, and then he even loses, and then he has to, carry them on his shoulders. I got carried by Jagannath Sutta on Christmas Day in the Harinam on Kuji Beach. And it's far out, it's like it feels like you kind of feel bad that, like, why is my friend devotee trying to carry me? But both he and we were both having fun, and then so that added to the atmosphere of the Harinam. So Krishna likes to take this subordinate role to his devotee, and this is like super creator of the universe. He's like, upholding all the planets in their orbit just by his own energy. He's so great. But then in his personal, intimate dealings, he's just the softest, sweetest person ever, the most lovable person. And that's this is our goal. But yes, our goal is through the mercy of the spiritual master and glorifying that spiritual master. And in that way, Krishna is very pleased. So let us uphold the pride of the disciples, the instruction of the spiritual master. And pretty much this is the Bhagavatams is always pointing this out to us. And we see the example set by Srila Prabhupada. And he was told, oh, you're the greatest spiritual master. And then Prabhupada said, no, I'm just a good disciple. I just 10% follow the instruction of my spiritual master. So let us try and do the same. And we can start with the 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna, 16 rounds every day, and follow the 4 regulative principles. We may think this is like normal because everyone gets it, but no, this is a great revolution, these 4 regulative principles. And this chanting the 16 rounds, one can actually get close intimacy with the Lord. This is the gift of the spiritual master. Let's hold on to it, let's take it. And if you don't feel enthusiastic, then we need to hear and read the Bhagavatam more and more. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll leave it for some questions, if there is.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhu, you mentioned about how this knowledge is not just revealed through scriptures. We need the mercy of the spiritual master. So when we are on this path, how do we know that we are receiving this knowledge continuously and we are progressing on this path rather than just being steady, just being, stagnant at one point?
Very good question. There's many ways that one can see, and if we're progressing. But okay, well, the one answer is just to ask the spiritual master, are you satisfied with my service? So what if your spiritual master has physically left this world? Well, he's still present through his instruction, and he's accessible through the heart. One can actually go within their heart and connect to the spiritual master, to the guru, because the spiritual master is the external manifestation of the super soul. So it's when we approach the spiritual master with our hearts, then Krishna will provide the means for us to understand whether we are satisfying the spiritual master. It's very esoteric now, once the physical presence of the spiritual master leaves. Obviously, if the physical presence in there, one can directly ask, are you satisfied with my service? If he is satisfied, you are progressing. And if he's not, then we have work to do. You can ask him, what else do I need to do to please you? And the way, it's very hard to do that because we usually come with our own plans and we just want him to tick it off. And if we're attached to those plans, then he'll just say yes, as long as it's Krishna conscious, still within the realm of Krishna consciousness, he'll approve of such plans. But he does see our potential. He has so much faith in us, more than we have in ourselves. And he has a particular plan he has for us to spread Krishna consciousness. So another means is that are our material desires or material attachments being reduced? You cannot see day by day, but you can look back from a year before. Are you a more mature devotee than before? You may have your ups and downs, but the nature of relationship is not about a checklist of how much you've done. It's whether you've stuck around, isn't it? You're not just a fair weather friend, you just come for the festivals. No, day in, day out, you'll chant those rounds. Day in, day out, you try and do some service. You may have dropped something before, but you've come back. So actually your Krishna consciousness is the most advanced now, because we never lose anything when we're serving the Lord. We only gain more and more and more and more. That is the nature of Krishna consciousness. You cannot lose. So this should encourage us to actually try harder, actually. There's nothing, so much can be gained. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have one more question, looks like. I see a hand. I don't know if that's a question. Is it? Okay, I'll take it as. Should I unmute you? You can unmute. Okay. Oh, the hand is gone. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can wind it up. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, no. Okay.
Hare
You
Krishna,
good?
Prabhu, just a follow-up question.
Okay.
Sometimes, some people don't have this ability, as you said, to check with the spiritual master within to see whether they're progressing or not, or whether they're doing enough or not. I think there's a different level of consciousness needed for that as well. But sometimes we try to evaluate ourselves relatively. Oh, this person is doing so much in spiritual life, whereas I am kind of busy in material, like spending a lot more time in maintenance of my material existence rather than focusing on the mission. And that kind of sometimes makes us feel that I'm not sure whether I'm progressing or not. So how do we manage that? Because again, as I said, we are not alone here. We are here with different devotees here as well. So how do is relative comparison good or not?
I would say it's good in one sense that you can appreciate another devotee. I would say it's bad in one sense that to think that because people on different levels, some starting from last life, so they're kind of like sort of looks like they're just flying ahead of us. So just to compare, I feel it's not good in that sense, because maybe your service looks completely different. Say, for example, like I'm a brahmachari, so I'm on the road, I'm always like sort of doing something on the streets. Whereas yourself as a family man, you definitely cannot do that. But your service as a householder can be more exalted if you're making your home a temple and making your kids Krishna conscious and somehow contributing to a community that is geared towards reaching out to others. So you may not be on the front lines, but you can support those who are on the front lines, or a community that is trying to reach out to others. And if you do that as in the right mood, so that right mood means like, okay, I cannot get out there. I admire these devotees, so let me just assist. Let me just be a servant of those servants. So actually you'll get more mercy. Yes, this is kind of how it works. When you just when you see great qualities in other devotees, if you just assist them in their own service, and especially if they're serving your spiritual master, then you'll bring great benedictions and blessings and strength to advance in Krishna consciousness. And you'll see that by being free from envy, anger, regret, lamentation, you'll see that disappear. You'll be fulfilled. That's kind of the secret. So instead of just seeing others like, oh, I should be like them or better than them, let me just assist them. And then you get all their qualities automatically. I did that with Viṣṇu for Harinamananda. He's like the best drum player in the world, but he needed someone to play cartels. So I played cartels 3 or 4 hours every day for him for 8 years straight. And also there was like good singer, Sham Rasa, he was singing. So I would always make sure I, respond when he would sing exactly how he liked it. And then, time goes on and now I can play drum nearly not as good as him, but I can play drum pretty well and I can sing a song. I was never a singer. So, I mean, that was not by training or like learning a musical instrument or something. It's just by blessings of serving those who are expert in a particular type of service like that. And I'm not Viṣṇu. I'm not Shamrasa. So I'm going to have my own flavor to offer my spiritual master. So this is also another thing. So it's not like we're supposed to become a clone of that advanced devotee. Like even of our own spirit, like we see Nitai, he's also, singing and playing the melodies exactly like Guru Maharaj. And he never like was trying to train that way. He was just trying his very best to play the best drum he can for Guru Maharaj and serve him in that way. And it just manifests on its own. So actually, when I go around seeing our God family, actually, I see my spiritual master within them, and he's given them all a unique gift that, I can't have. He's given that to you. And then, it inspires me, so you're an expert musician, you can play any instrument. You have this whole thing of organizing, managing. You can do amazing things. I'm sure many devotees can can confirm that.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing your insights. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.